and I serve as the board chair for the Georgia Men for Democracy Now! Political Action Committee. On behalf of the PAC, we welcome you to tonight's debate for the Fulton County Board of Commissioners, District 5 seat. District 5 includes Southwest Atlanta, the city of South Fulton, East Point, College Park, Union City, and the surrounding communities. Issues discussed this evening directly affect the economic stability, public safety, health, and future of these very communities. We want to thank each of the candidates for offering themselves for public service and for participating in this forum tonight. With the PAC, we begin each of our meetings with prayer, and in this sacred place, we wish to do the same tonight. I want to welcome to the podium our social media manager and webmaster, Mr. Larry Hill.
Good evening. Please stand as you are able and join me in the word of prayer. Most gracious Father in heaven, we come to you tonight with gratitude. We thank you for bringing us together for this event. We thank these candidates for offering themselves up to service for the people of Fulton County, and we thank you for the future of the District 5 of Fulton County. Please let the messages delivered tonight be received clearly. Bless each candidate as they continue on the campaign trail, and let each individual here get home safely. In the mighty name of God we pray, amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. For those of you who may be unfamiliar with the Georgia Men for Democracy Now!, we'd like to share a little bit about our short but powerful history. And to share that, I'd like to welcome to the podium our founding chairman, Dr. Kenneth Augustus Walker.
Let's give our board chair a hand because he introduced himself as the board chair. I'm Dr. Kenneth Augustus Walker. I have the great honor of leading the newest and the greatest PAC in the state of Georgia. We're a bipartisan PAC, which means we don't look at a particular party. We look at the candidate who stands for democracy, who fights for everyday people, affordability, housing, living wage, and so forth. We started this PAC, we organized in 2025, summer, or really the fall of 2024. We held our first fundraiser in 2025, in February. We raised $30,000 in one night. We decided to be different than other PACs by focusing on state and local elections. Washington, D.C. does not pick up your garbage. Washington, D.C. does not tell you how big or how small your house has to be with planning and zoning. So we wanted to focus on local issues where everyday Americans, everyday communities are impacted and affected. We had a great municipal season. We won all 6 of our runoffs. We endorsed 2 candidates in the city of South Fulton. She won our debate going away. Your new mayor, who should join us, Mayor Carmelita Gums. Let's give her a big round of applause. Also in the city of South Fulton, we endorsed Mr. Aaron Johnson, who is now City Councilman Aaron Johnson. We were with him earlier today. So we look at races that we think are very important for a particular area or a constituency. We also were fortunate. We were the first people to ever endorse Marcy Carter Overstreet, who's now the Atlanta City Council President, and several others. We had 7 victories in the past election. In fact, the personal photographer that's shooting for us tonight is the photographer for Councilwoman President Overstreet. Will you hold your hand up, Ms. Fox? That's her personal photographer. I'm going to, our PAC is, I'm a country boy, I grew up in Washington, Georgia. Our PAC is not a watermelon truck-driven guys from Cordell, Georgia, and Watermelon Field State University. We have some of the smartest men, black men, in the entire nation. They are doctors, lawyers, professors, educators, CPAs, and so forth. I'm going to ask them to stand and face the audience. We don't have time to introduce themselves, but these are the men who make the PAC work. You will hear more about the debate and how we pick winners. We have a complicated metrics, and our vice chair will talk about that later. And we have a debate team. So within the PAC, there's a team that focuses simply on the debates. And you will hear more about that tonight. And we thank you. And I would be remiss as an old country boy and a retired pastor if I did not recognize the great work of the pastor of this church, Pastor Orpheus. to have the foresight to move from Ralph David Abernathy. Well, I used to get my hair cut at Melbourne by the McDonald's. He saw where South Fulton was going, and God allowed him to plant a church, a gym, and a daycare center in one location. Let's give God some praise for the man of God, the angel of this house. Amen.
Thank you, Dr. Walker, for those words and setting the record straight. I am the board secretary.
No, you
And he's already kind of alluded to the beautiful facility that we are pleased to bring this debate to you in tonight. And so we want to bring up our primary point of contact and share a word of thanks, our PAC treasurer, Mr. Dwayne Grimmett.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. On behalf of the Georgia Men for Democracy Now!, I want to extend a heartfelt thanks to the Renaissance Church of Christ for graciously opening your doors and allowing us to use your facilities for tonight's Fulton County Commissioners District 5 candidate debate. Your hospitality, professionalism, and spirit of service made this event possible. We are especially grateful to Evangelist Orpheus Haywood, Elder David Bishop, and your entire team and for your leadership and support. And a special thanks also to Sister Johnson for your dedication and behind-the-scenes work that made this event possible. Partnerships like this strengthen our community and help ensure that civic engagement remains accessible to everyone. We truly appreciate your generosity and your commitment to creating a space for meaningful dialogue. Thank you again for your support and for being such a vital part of this important evening. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Wright. So we're going to welcome back our chair to recognize any elected officials and other special guests.
Do we have any elected officials or anyone, if you're running for public office or elected official, please stand. If you're running for office, please introduce yourself. Come to the front with me so they can see you. I'm giving y'all free commercial time. Good. Okay. So just introduce yourself to the audience.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. I am Jane Williams, and I am running for State House seat District 68. That is between two counties, Fulton County and Fayette County. Fulton County is parts of South Fulton, Union City, Fairburn, and Fayette County it is Tyrone, Fayetteville, and Peachtree City. You live in those areas, or if you know someone that lives in those areas, hey, I would appreciate your vote and your prayers and your donation. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm City Councilwoman Owens Twaits from the progressive city of Union City.
I'm Billy Crane. I'm a 50-year resident of the District 3 here in South Fulton. One of the key architects behind the founding of the city of South Fulton. I would be honored to be the successor of our illustrious councilwoman, Helen Willis. So I'll be on the ballot because we all know that District 3 is the place to be.
What's going on, guys? My name is Dr. Kelly Leslie. I'm not running for a district in the area, but I'm running for Congressional District 8, which is, it starts in Monroe County and goes all the way down to Florida. So I am just here because I'm one of the founders of the city of South Fulton, and I want to see it prosper as well. So I'm here listening to these two candidates to make sure that they're in line with our vision. So thank you.
Warm greetings, everyone. My name is Teresa Thomas Smith. I usually introduce myself as Teresa from Absentee, but in this arena, I will introduce myself as the mayor of the city of Palmetto. I'm very grateful for this. Our city sits between two counties, predominantly in Fulton County, and a little slice of it sits in Coweta County. I live in the Coweta County side, but I have been very engaged with constituents, so I am here to listen, to learn. I know both the ladies personally, and I love them personally. So I'm just going to listen, and then I will be able to report back to my constituents what I heard. Thank you for doing it. Good night. Good evening. My name is Angela Addison. I am the District 2 Councilwoman for City of Chattanooga Hills. This is my first time serving. I am the first African American to serve in that position and only the second in the city. I have to really get used to people saying, we're going to call up all elected officials. I'm a retired teacher of 30 years. It was a thankless job to some extent, but it was also a calling. So when you're called to do something, you don't get caught up in the pomp and circumstances. And therefore, I sat in my seat until I realized, oh, you're talking about me. Okay. So it's great to be here, to be an informed citizen. One thing that I'm stressing to the constituents in my district is that they have to be an informed electorate and make sure that they're active beyond the vote. So that's why I'm here, to make sure that I can go back and share with the district and with the city information that is pertinent to us continuing to grow and prosper in Chattanooga Hills.
Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Darius Rollins. Let me first thank Georgia Men for Democracy Now! For being here this evening and helping put this together, as well as the two candidates. Looking for great things for both of you. I am running for City of South Fulton, District 3. This is the second time. I currently serve on the City of South Fulton Downtown Development Authority, working closely with the Department of Economic Development to bring development and push South Fulton forward. Thank you so very much for being here this evening, and I think I'm between now and the start. Okay, let's go.
We're going to ask the elected officials, after we take our picture with the candidates tonight, that you take a picture with the pack. For those of you who were first in your city, what a historical moment. Let's give those first a big hand. Service. We do see another elected official who just came in, so Senator, come on down and introduce yourself. I know it's been a long day for you. Come on down to the Senate. The newly elected senator from this area. Let's give it up to Senator Howard!
Hello, everybody. It's good to see you. Y'all are in my home congregation, Renaissance Church of Christ, where I serve as a deacon and Bible study teacher. It's one of the big reasons why I wear Jesus on my sleeve everywhere I go. Because, you know, at the end of the day, when it gets really, really hard, you got to remember why you do what you do. Why do you sacrifice what you sacrifice? And what gives me that motivation to stand up and try to make sure these detention centers aren't going crazy, or when it comes to ICE bills that we're trying to put forward, or making sure that food is not out of control as it is. Every time I go to the grocery store, I get mad. You know, working on that. But we're working hard. Down at the Capitol, the newly elected state senator, thank you for sending me to the state senate after a hard-fought race, and I look forward to representing you. So thank you for giving me a few minutes of your time. And we had a great day at the Capitol today, but we've been working hard. We're 40 days. I don't think it's an accident that it's 40 days. So those Bible readers out there, 40 days, you know, Moses was trying to get some law in 40 days, and what were the people doing? Losing their complete minds. So we got to make sure that we're not losing our mind. We're trusting in the one that's holding it all together, even if it seems out of control. So thank you again, your state senator, Howard. I see so many supporters, and special shout out to Lou. He and his wife, they supported me in my first run. Since my first run, 10 years ago. People don't know, it's been a long journey. We came up the rough side of the mountain, and we're better for it. So thank you so much.
I was going to suggest you sit by Lou, so go there with Lou. Get a check to him, he has money.
Very good. Thank you all again. So at this time, we're going to bring up our PAC Vice Chair, Attorney Eugene Fulton. He's going to explain our candidate selection process, the debate rules that will be engaged tonight. We'll introduce our moderator, the questioners, and our timekeeper. Attorney Fulton.
Good evening. Thank you all for being here. Thanks to our candidates for showing up. We wish all of you well. These debates, they do not happen in a vacuum. We often are asked, how do you come up with this election process? We have rules, and we stick to our rules. And so one of the things that we look at, there are multiple variables of what we require. First of all, we look at, one of the things that we look at, and it's just not one factor, it's a multitude of factors. The one is fundraising. That is one of many factors. Donors, that's one of the things that we look at. Polling performance, party support, and policy documentation. And what I mean by that is that we have a questionnaire and an application. We send it to each of the candidates who are interested in participating in debates that we have. The questionnaire is very important because they have issues that pertain to the community. And from those questionnaires, there's an answer based on their policy position. They turn those in, and they're required to turn them in on time, and these candidates have done that. Once they've done that, we take their answers and we use those answers as a basis for the questions that we will pose to them here at the debate. Tonight, our moderator will be Mr. Alan Wiley. We will have a timekeeper. It will be Dr. Craig Logan. And we will have two questioners, Dr. Kirk Sattler and Dr. Stephen Pearson. As we have done before, and consistent with our prior rules, each candidate will get a substantive question, and each candidate will get the same question. The candidates will respond in rotating order to ensure balance and fairness. No candidate will receive exclusive questions. Each candidate will receive 2 minutes to answer the question. Time will be strictly enforced by our timekeeper, Dr. Craig Logan. We will allow rebuttals, but they must be focused on policy distinctions and clarification. No Hamilton attack, no personal commentary. Lastly, we will entertain questions from the audience on an index card. We've done about 4 debates, and some of our best and brightest questions come from those in the audience. You do not have to put your name on the index card, but if you have a particular question that you want to have asked, fill it out, and someone from the pack will pick it up, and it will be among the last questions that we have. Thank you all for coming in, and now I turn it over to Alan Wiley.
Good evening. Good evening. On behalf of the Georgia Men for Democracy Now! Political Action Committee, welcome to tonight's debate for the Fulton County Board of Commissioners, District 5C. We thank Renaissance Church of Christ for hosting us, and we thank both candidates, Councilwoman Helen Willis and Ms. Sojourner Grimmett, for offering themselves for public service. Tonight's forum is focused on governance and outcomes. The Fulton County Board of Commissioners oversees a multi-billion-dollar budget, jail and diversion funding, public health, infrastructure planning, housing partnerships, procurement, and election oversight. Our questions tonight are structured to focus primarily on the real material concerns of District 5 residents, and also we want to focus on housing, safety, healthcare, youth opportunity, economic mobility, while also testing the leadership, fiscal discipline, and governing capacity of the candidates. So let's begin with opening statements. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to provide their opening remarks. Candidates will speak in alphabetical order by last name. In terms of those timekeeper rules, Dr. Craig Logan will signal with the yellow card at 90 seconds and a red card at 2 minutes. Let's begin with the opening remarks. We will start with Mr. Sojourner Grimmett. You will have 2 minutes.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Let's see if we can do this. This is my 2 minutes restart. Good evening, everyone. My name is Sojourner Grimmett, and someone said earlier, that's the truth. I am the truth. I'm named after Sojourner Truth. I wanted to give a shout out to my mom, Hazel Ann, who's in the house tonight. I love you, Mom. Thank you for being here. And to my dad, who's always protecting me from up above, Dr. Manning Merrill. I am a mom. I'm a wife to Roland. I'm a mom to 2 boys. Roland, our oldest, graduated from Wesley. He's now a freshman at Tuskegee. Joshua, our youngest, he's getting off the baseball field now. He's at Wesley, and he's a sophomore. I ran for elected office in 2019 for this same seat. It was when the great Commissioner Darnell passed away. So that was 2019. And I'm running again, right, in 2026. I am not a politician. Y'all can see I don't have nails. I dig in the dirt. I'm a community activist, advocate, and organizer. I've lived in South Fulton County for over 25 years, and it was intentional that our boys, Roland and Joshua, grew up around Black excellence. And that is what I see tonight in this room. So I wanted to thank all of you for coming out tonight. I appreciate your time and your consideration, looking at both of us, and considering who you want to represent you at the Board of Commissioners. I'm a community advocate. I started my career off in higher education. I then went on and worked in affordable senior housing during the COVID pandemic. I also spent a stint in Fulton County government, working for Chairman John Eves in constituent services. So for over 25 years, I've been on the ground in the community doing the work. I'm the one who's behind the scenes, right? Not in front of the camera. And I can be in front of the camera, that's fine too. But being behind the scenes, you roll up your sleeves and get the work done. Thank you.
Good evening. Hello. Testing. Testing. Can you hear me? Okay. Good evening. I am Councilmember Helen Zenobia Willis, and I would like to be your next Fulton County 5th District Commissioner. Growing up in Savannah, Georgia, as a little girl, I was a fighter, but I fought for people who did not have voices. Volunteering at Memorial Medical Center, which is like Grady here in Metro Atlanta, from 13 to 16 years of age, I learned that there were mothers who were worried about their children who had to go to the NICU unit. There were seniors who could not afford health care. There were many people that I met that could not afford, that did not have the means to have a decent living. So, what that taught me is that dignity matters, access to health care matters, leadership matters, and leadership is service. It's not about titles. That lesson taught me to go on to be a caregiver for my grandmother, later a caregiver for my mother. In advocating for them, it taught me and deepened my passion to fight for those in my community. We went through a lot during COVID, and together we addressed healthcare by bringing access to healthcare in the community. We addressed food insecurity. I worked with my current commissioner to bring jobs to teens for the past 8 years. For almost a decade, you all have elected me 3 times. You have trusted me to lead this community. I ask for your vote and your support May 19th to be your next Fulton County Commissioner. Thank you for having the both of us. Thank you. I'm Helen Zenobia Willis, and I ask for your support and vote May 19th.
We will now move into the District 5 4-issue questions. Each candidate will have up to 2 minutes to respond to every question. The first question will be asked of Councilwoman Willis.
Good evening. All right, good evening. My name is Stephen Pearson, and first question for this evening. Residents across District 5 are experiencing rising housing costs. Insurance premiums, property taxes, food prices, and wages have not kept pace. Fulton County manages multi-billion-dollar budget. Within your first county budget, what 2 concrete investments or policy changes would you prioritize to lower economic pressures on working families and seniors? And what trade-offs, for example, millage adjustments, impact fee assessments, relocations, etc., would you make to fund?
Fulton County has already passed their 2026 budget, okay? And there are 5 areas that they are focused on in the 2026 budget. That is healthcare and human services, justice and safety, open and responsible government, infrastructure, economic development, and arts and libraries. And so, yes, many are hurting. Pocketbooks, seniors are suffering, healthcare costs are rising. The first 2 policies that I would love to address is how we can help our most vulnerable community, that is seniors. Bringing health care access to the community. Advocating that we address the rising costs of seniors. I see it every day, I hear it every day, people can't afford their medicines. So we have a multi-million-dollar budget in Fulton County, and we need to work to create more supplements for our seniors, to get cheaper medicine, to have access to produce and vegetables, because our shelves are empty, and we need to make sure that we are working with Grady to make sure that we create opportunities where seniors can break that, the healthcare access can come to our community. That's what we have been doing, that's what we will continue to do in the city of South Fulton. Sometimes you have to meet people where they are. And our problem in the 5th District is that healthcare is not as accessible. So we are working with Kappa Alpha Psi, we're working with Kappa Alpha Psi in the spring to have a healthcare mobile unit so that our seniors will have access to mammograms, so we will also have, our seniors will have access to take, thank you for the question.
Yes. We apologize for not making it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm a journalist at heart, so I'm trying to remember your questions. So I was polite sitting down, and I didn't have my pen to scribe. But you talked about healthcare, and you talked about policy, right? And so I mentioned this earlier, I may or may not have, but my background is in marketing comms, community outreach, and engagement. So I spent about 3 years in corporate, working at Peach State Health Plan. And I was the VP of all of those things, right? So I had a large team of 23 people. And what we did is we provided care packages for hundreds of thousands of Medicaid members throughout the state of Georgia. So I know the importance of healthcare access. You know, we mentioned Grady earlier. I'm thrilled, and I was at the groundbreaking, that we will have a department stand up pretty soon, hopefully in the fall, right in Union City. So that's a plus for us. Healthcare access. I have my boys, at Crawford Lawn, right? And that's 35 minutes in traffic. So it'll be nice to be able to go to a hospital eventually. That's close to home. And so policies are always around seniors, right? Making sure that our seniors have the resources that they need. I recently spoke at the Fulton County Board of Commissioners meeting regarding affordable housing. So my work is in healthcare. It's also in affordable senior housing. You may have heard of these communities: Baptist Towers, Baptist Gardens, Trying to See Head Shake, Big Bethel Village, Trinity Towers. And so during COVID, I mentioned earlier, I made sure that our seniors, thousands of seniors in high rises, along with my mom, made sure that I was able to write $1 million grant in order for them to have access to food. My mom and I, and along with several of our colleagues, rolled up our sleeves, put on all of those layers, and made sure that our seniors had food right at their doorsteps. They did not have to leave. I see some of you shaking your hands. We must be friends on Facebook, so you saw this work. Healthcare, affordable housing. Thank you.
The second question will be on criminal justice and diversion reforms. First answer will be given by Ms. Grimmett. Second answer will be given by Ms. Willis.
You've both expressed concern about aspects of our criminal justice system. Within the next 18 months, what specific measurable change would you target related to jail population, diversion access, or recidivism? And what specific budget decision, including whether funding would increase, decrease, or be reallocated, would make that possible?
Sojourner, thank you. I'm sorry, brother, I was waiting on the green. Thank you. Thank you for that question. I appreciate it. I mentioned earlier that I'm raising 2 black boys, an 18-year-old and a 16-year-old. Every time my boys leave the house, I pray over them. Not just over them, but I pray over their baseball team, right? I pray over their football team to make sure that they are safe when they go out and about. Our jail is overcrowded. I think we have 2,500 beds and probably too many people that are sleeping on the floor. I think it's about 76 is the count. That's heartbreaking. No one should be sleeping on the floor anywhere, outside, inside. So we need to fix our jail first. And then secondly, there are a lot of people that are in the Fulton County Jail that should not be in the Fulton County Jail. We need to advocate for more mental health services for folks, because a high percentage of the folks who are in the Fulton County Jail have mental health issues that need to be addressed, that are oftentimes and sadly overlooked. So we need to increase funding. And as you all know, that the jail is under a consent decree. It is operating under a federal consent decree. So we need to ensure safety for folks who are in the jail. Everyone should be treated humanely, right? Not inhumanely. We are all citizens. And so those are the areas that I would focus on. Thank you for the question.
The question was what budget what was the question?
So within the next 18 months, what specific measurable change would you target related to jail population, diversion access, or recidivism? And what specific budget decision, including whether funding would increase, decrease, or be reallocated, would make that possible?
Being married to a 37-year veteran of the Fulton County Sheriff's Office, I have firsthand knowledge of what's going on with the jail. The jail was too small day one, they opened it. One. The way that you fix some of the problems with the jail is that you fund the entire ecosystem of the justice system. You see, the jail is just a holder, but the jail can't release people if the judges are not equally funded, if the prosecutors are not equally funded, and if the district attorney is not equally funded. And what you hear from all of the justice partners is that they are underfunded. And so Not only do we need to fix the jail problem, we need to fund the entire justice system. Not only do we need to fund the entire justice system, we need to continue to create programs to keep our children away from jail. And that is what I have done. I'm a very harsh advocate for improving our park system and working with partners to keep activities, to keep our facilities in our jail, keep our facilities up to par in the city of South Fulton. Because if we keep our kids active, then we don't have to worry about them going to jail. For the past 8 years, I have worked with our current commissioner. Every summer, we bring job programs. We work with work stores, a Fulton County agency, work stores, and we bring employers to our community every spring so that our kids can get jobs during the summertime. So, making sure that our community and our children have jobs, making sure our residents have jobs, funding the entire ecosystem is what I am going to advocate for as your next commissioner, because that is how we keep the population in the jail low. Thank you.
The next question is on housing stability and displacement. Councilwoman Willis will respond first. Ms. Grimmett will follow.
Okay. District 5 includes communities vulnerable to rising rents, investor purchases, and senior displacement. What county-level policy change would most directly protect legacy homeowners and renters, including addressing corporate bulk purchases of single-family homes? And how would you prevent unintended consequences?
I can tell you what we have already done in the city of South Fulton. There is legislation that we have implemented that will prevent investors from coming into our community and building homes to rent. And we're not against renters, but what we want is traditional communities. We don't want them to come in traditional neighborhoods and build and change the character of the community. I will also, as your commissioner, make sure that we have funding to partner with agencies that will provide affordable housing. That was proposed in this budget, and it was not put in the budget to fund agencies that will provide affordable housing for seniors. Many of our seniors want to age in place. They don't want to move out of the community. We do have, in Fulton County, we have a housing authority, and they have done a great job with building some affordable senior housing in our community, but we need more. In the South Fulton region, our legacy residence is our fastest growing population. Our fastest growing populations, and so we do need serious rent control in Fulton County, throughout the South Fulton region. These beautiful homes that you see, many of them are occupied by residents, and they're ready to transition into smaller quarters. As a policymaker, I have approved at least 3 affordable housing communities that will be coming on board in the city of South Fulton. One on Welcome Mall, one on Fairburn. And these homes will be geared to affordable housing for seniors. So as a policymaker, we must look for ways to make sure that we are working and demanding that developers build homes or build senior affordable housing so that our fastest and most vulnerable population will have some place to age in place.
Thank you for that question. In the affordable housing space, folks call us housers. So I was a houser for 5 years, talked about this already just a little bit, but I was a houser working in affordable senior housing, not just in Metro Atlanta, but in Georgia. And I advocated for affordable senior housing and continue to do so, even not working in affordable senior housing. Seniors are near and dear to me, not just my mom, but other seniors. All seniors are near and dear to me. And so What's also important that we don't talk about, that I would focus on, are wraparound services within affordable senior housing. Sometimes there's no funding for that. If seniors want to age in place, and we want seniors to age in place, then wraparound services help them age in place. So that's something that I would strongly advocate for. I'm trying to remember the rest of your question as well, but it's around affordable housing, seniors aging in place, and then what I would bring to the Fulton County Commission Board would be those wraparound services for our seniors. Thank you for the question.
The next question is on healthcare and behavioral health. Ms. Grimmett will respond first. Councilwoman Willis will follow.
Fulton County oversees public health and behavioral services. What measurable health outcomes will you commit to delivering in your first term? And what specific investment would support that outcome?
So we spoke about earlier the Fulton County Jail and how a number of our inmates or residents that are in the jail have mental health conditions that are oftentimes unchecked. And so what I would advocate for is the utilization of the diversion center that we have that is not full, right? So we're arresting folks and putting them right in the jail. So we may need to educate our officers a bit more on the option of not jail, but the diversion center. And so that is something that I would advocate for right away as your next Fulton County Commissioner.
Here in the city of South Fulton, we already have policies in place where if our officers encounter people who are having mental episodes, they should call a mental health crisis on the scene to help them through the crisis, or help them deal with the person who's going through the crisis. They also have been instructed, instead of taking people to jail, take them to the behavioral health center, diversion center that is newly opened in Fulton County. Atlanta and Fulton County partnered and created a diversion center. That diversion center will help people through their crisis and give them wraparound services. The thing about it is we need one on the south side. We need those services on the south side as well. Yes, our jail is filled with people who have mental health issues. And the last time I checked, I think that is one of the main things that they are focused on. That is what the new tower is going to be built for. The new tower that is going to be built in the jail, for the jail, is going to address, it's a diversion center for, and it's going to address inmates who have mental health issues. People who have mental health issues do not deserve to be in jail. They should not be in jail. The problem is that Georgia has closed most of the mental health services, hospitals throughout Georgia. And so when that happened, there was no place to take people who have mental health crisis. We get the complaints, we get the calls all the time as policymakers. We are going to have to create more public-private partnerships, and we're going to have to put the funding where it's needed. And that is to help people not only through their mental health crisis, but wraparound services. Thank you for the question.
The next question is on procurement and economic equity. Councilwoman Helen Willis will answer first, followed by Ms. Grimmett.
Both of you have identified economic equity as a priority in District 5. Fulton County awards substantial contract dollars each year, yet disparities in contract awards persist. What specific enforceable procurement reform would you implement to ensure Black-owned businesses receive a materially higher share of the county contract dollars? And And what measurable outcome would you commit to achieving within your term?
Thank you for that question. Fulton County already has a minority business program. The problem that I see is that we need to do a better job with teaching people how to do business with government. I get questions all the time about how can I get a contract with the government. And I have to inform as a policymaker, I cannot single-handedly, award contracts or be involved with getting you awarded contracts. But what I don't see enough is governments hosting workshops on how to do business with government. Those programs already exist in Fulton County. Attorney Rodney Strong was instrumental in working to implement a minority business program in Fulton County. What I would do as a policymaker is work with our procurement department and host town halls and host training workshops with businesses and with residents in the community so that we can teach them how to bid for those contracts. Additionally, Fulton County has funding for nonprofits. The deadline for the funding, to apply for the funding for your nonprofit, is February 28th. How many of you all knew that? If you have a nonprofit, Fulton County has a pocket of money where they will award your nonprofit if you apply. So the problem that I see is not that there's not opportunity. The problem I see is that we as policymakers, we got to do a better job with educating our community and businesses on how to do business with Fulton County.
Thank you for the question. My grandfather was an entrepreneur, James Palmer Marable. He had a used car dealership in Dayton, Ohio. He also had, all at the same time, used car dealership, a storefront, and a daycare. And so he was also a builder. So I come from entrepreneurs. I advocate for Black and brown business owners. Because being an entrepreneur, I don't know how many entrepreneurs are in the room. Raise your hands. Is hard work. And so I would also make sure that we have town halls educating entrepreneurs in addition to workshops, so you know how to work with Fulton County government, because that's important. As a communications background, I forgot to mention, I did go to Clark Atlanta University. I do see some folks from Clark in the audience. So thank you for being here tonight. It's important to educate folks, to provide literature and materials that are accessible so folks know how to do business with the county. And also to have an open door policy as well. I served as a people leader for a very long time and have always had an open door policy. And it's so to educate, to make sure that people are aware of the resources that are provided and available for them. Thank you.
We will now move into the next phase of our debate, city collaboration questions. The Fulton County Board of Commissioners does not operate in isolation. The effectiveness of a District 5 commissioner will depend largely on their ability to collaborate with municipal leaders, particularly in the city of South Fulton and the city of Atlanta. And as with the previous questions, candidates will respond in rotating order to ensure balance and fairness. Each candidate will have up to 2 minutes to respond to each question. The first question will be about the city of South Fulton, and we'll begin with Ms. Grimmett, and then Councilwoman Willis will follow.
As you know, the city of South Fulton has a new mayor, Mayor Gumbs. If elected, how will you work with Mayor Gumbs and the city council to move the city forward, particularly around economic development, infrastructure alignment, and public safety?
And I know Mayor Gums just entered the room, so congratulations again. Yes. The good news is Mayor Gums and I know each other well. We've known each other over 10 years, working in affordable senior housing. And Mayor, I already listed all the communities that we served in together. And so that's already a plus, is that we know each other and we know advocacy and the importance of collaboration and communication. So that's already a win. And so I already know the mayor, we would work well with one another. And I'm sorry about the other part of your question. Collaboration, communication are some of the things that I would do working with other cities.
Yeah, I'll repeat it. So if elected, how will you work with Mayor Gums and the City Council to move the city forward, particularly around economic development, infrastructure alignment, and public safety?
Thank you for that. So big part of Fulton County government is infrastructure, right? And so if you're driving in District 1, you'll see that they're working on, it's not too far away from Boat Rock Road, but just to give y'all an example, they're working on laying sewer. So that's what Fulton County commissioners are responsible for when in regards to infrastructure. Infrastructure, sewer is everywhere. And so that's how we would pair working together. They're laying down the sidewalks, we're laying down what's underneath, right? We also work on affordable housing. We touched on that a lot. And so making sure that our seniors or whoever is in need of affordable housing has housing. And then most importantly, or not even most importantly, but as importantly, we need to think about healthcare access. And we talked about the Grady Department standing up as well. So those are the areas that we would collaborate and work on together. Thank you again for restating the question. I appreciate it.
The next question.
Here's what Mayor Gums and I are currently working on with Fulton County, our current Fulton County Commissioner who endorses me. We have brought in a Fresh Market, established a partnership with Fresh Market. Fresh Market is a program in Fulton County that comes into our community and teach our residents on the healthy way to prepare foods. And after that Fresh Market class, they leave with fresh produce and vegetables. We partner with our current commissioner in Fulton County to do that now. We partner with our current commissioner every year to put on a youth annual teen fair in spring so that our youth can secure jobs for the summer. I currently partner with Fulton County with Youth Sparks. Youth Sparks is a program that Fulton County funds to help combat human sex trafficking. In the city of South Fulton, we have a human sex trafficking ambassador program with over 100 ambassadors. We currently have to, this year, every 10 years, every city has to work with Fulton County in developing a service delivery strategy plan. And that plan is for 10 years. And so in April, we will be contacted by Fulton County to collaborate to ensure that we address all services that have to be delivered from Fulton County to the municipalities. I also want to say, yes, City of South Fulton is the largest in the 5th District, but as your commissioner, I will not leave the other cities out. We are one South Fulton region strong. So it's important that we spread the love, and I do spread the love. I don't discriminate when other cities come to the activities to South Fulton that we are partnering with Fulton County. So I'm known across this region for helping others and collaborating with my commissioner to help others. Thank you.
And now for the City of Atlanta question, centered around homelessness and housing. Councilwoman Willis will respond first. Ms. Grimmett will follow.
All right. If elected, you won't have to work with the City of Atlanta. Mayor Dickens has already made homelessness and affordable housing a priority. How will you, as the new District 5 Commissioner, partner with the mayor
I'm very acquainted with Mayor Dickens because he was once a council member. So I understand, he understands what we go through as policymakers. One of the things as a Fulton County Commissioner is we promise that we're going to fund supportive housing and we're going to fund programs to help mitigate homelessness. As a commissioner, I'm going to fulfill that commitment. What I saw in the news would not happen with me. Atlanta is our largest city in the state. And if we don't help or address homelessness in Atlanta, and if we don't help mitigate affordable housing in Atlanta, it's going to impact all of us. Because we see now that in our very own city, we're dealing with more homelessness encampments. We see it spreading. And so what we commit to doing in Fulton County as far as providing funding for supportive housing, for homelessness, and also working with our third-party partners, because there's over 50 of them, to address affordable housing, and ensuring that Fulton County Housing Authority is operating with decency and order, because Fulton County Housing Authority has to serve this entire county. Not every city in this region has a housing authority. And so Mayor Dickens doesn't have to worry about Helen Zenobia Willis. I'm going to advocate to make sure what we commit to, we fulfill what we commit to. You won't see me on the news saying, look, you won't see me on the news with him begging me to fund and to commit to homelessness and affordable housing. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. I know the mayor as well. I knew him when he was a council member as well, when I worked in affordable senior housing. I recently participated in the point in time count. And so that happens, I believe, once a year, where volunteers go out in the community along with others, and we interview and engage with unhoused individuals, right? And so it reminded me a lot of graduate school when I was at Penn State and did my research in Over the Rhine community outside of Cincinnati. And so it's those in-depth interviews that you have, those one-on-one interviews, and then themes emerge from those interviews, right? And so participating just about a month ago in the point in time count really centered me in understanding the needs of folks who are unhoused. And so I encourage you all to look up point in time and become a volunteer next year. We talk a lot about affordable housing, which is wonderful. Affordable housing is near and dear to my heart. It's so near and dear to my heart that I actually named 3 properties, advocated for them as a community advocate and organizer, and also working in affordable housing. And those communities, there's one out in Douglasville, Sweetwater Point. There's one that just opened up in Christian City. Have y'all been to Christian City? Are you familiar within Union City? Also another community that has point. I'm trying to juggle here. See how good I am? And then a third property in Pembroke, Georgia. And so I'm in tune to what's going on the ground in affordable housing, and in particular in senior affordable housing. And I've already advocated, I continue to advocate for it. I was just at the Board of Commissioners meeting, and it was passed for more affordable housing. Thank you.
Okay, this is the last section of the questions, and it's on governance and leadership. Immediately following these 2 questions, we will entertain questions from the audience. You can turn your index card over to the PAC members, and we will ask your questions. As it relates to governance and leadership test, serving on the Fulton County Board of Commissioners requires more than strong ideas. It requires building consensus, navigating competing priorities, and delivering measurable outcomes for District 5 residents within the scope of county authority. So the following questions are designed to assess how each of you would govern, how you would build votes, make adjustments when necessary, and define success in concrete terms. And as we've done before, candidates will respond in rotating order. Each candidate will have up to 2 minutes per question. The first question on this topic is around governing consensus. Ms. Grimmett will respond first, followed by Councilwoman Helen Willis.
County governance requires securing 4 votes to pass policy or budget decisions. Identify one policy area within Fulton County authority where you would be willing to adjust your preferred approach in order to build consensus for District 5 residents, and explain what you would and would not compromise.
That's a good question. Already, what I won't compromise is healthcare, because we are in a healthcare desert. And so that's why it's so important that we have this health care department that will be opening soon. So that's one area that I won't compromise in, is around healthcare access, because we need it desperately here in South Fulton. I'd have to think more about the area in which I would lean in voting a different way. I can only think right now about healthcare access and the importance of it. So I have to give that some more thought. Thank you.
As a policymaker for 9 years, I have experienced governing through chaos. 95% of my policies have passed. Here are some things I will not compromise on our most sacred right, and that is our right to vote. We are responsible for governing elections, and our 2020 ballots were stolen. The foolishness I see around our elections, I won't compromise on that. Too much blood has been shed. I would not compromise on services for our seniors, because they deserve it. They've already paid for it. I would not compromise, as a daughter of a veteran, I would not compromise on funding our veterans for veteran services. We keep talking about this 50-bed facility that's opening up in South Fulton. We are in a death trap. That's cute, but we need more. We need a hospital. We need hospitals. I won't compromise on health care and access to health care, because during COVID, I saw so many people suffer. I saw so many people who didn't have anyone to advocate for them. You send me to you send me to the commission, I am going to be your biggest advocate. My mama told me closed mouths don't get fed. And we're going to eat a lot. Don't mistake my passion for confusion. I'm going to go in the door working with everyone, but there are certain things that I will not compromise on. And I just told you what I would not do. Thank you.
Final question will be answered first by Ms. Grimmett, followed by Ms.
Okay. By the end of your first term, what single measurable metric within Fulton County authority should voters use to determine whether your leadership succeeded? And what specific number must that metric reach?
Thank you for the question. It would go back to healthcare, right? So making sure that this freestanding health department that we have, which is just one building, hasn't been built out all the way, right? So that we would provide funding to make sure that we have a hospital here in South Fulton. So folks who are suffering from various illnesses, heart attacks, you name it, don't need to be rushed to Grady, don't need to be rushed to Crawford Long, but can go right here to a full-fledged hospital and making sure that they can be taken care of. Now, that first part of the hospital, they will be able to provide a lot of services, but for a short period of time. And so that development can happen within my first term, 4 years, as your next Fulton County Commissioner. Thank you.
Judge me on getting our ambulance time reduced from 18 minutes. See, at the church that I'm a member of, I witnessed someone get sick and not make it to the hospital on time. I witnessed on several occasions where we had to wait for the ambulance service to come and to bring medical attention to our members and waited 20 to 30 minutes. Judge me on advocating on getting our ambulance to come sooner. There is no way our fire department should be our ambulance service. So as Fulton County Commissioners, we are responsible for appointing people to the Emergency Management Commission. And we need to hold them more accountable for the services that we receive in this area because we're in a death trap. The hospital is being built. So don't judge me on a project that's already in progress. Judge me on advocating on bringing more health services to our community. One-stop services. If they can have it in North Fulton, we can have it in South Fulton. I'm not going to tell you that I can accomplish getting a hospital, a full-fledged hospital in my first term, because we didn't get here overnight, and it's not going to take overnight to fix it. But what I will tell you, what can be fixed, the low-hanging fruit, is making sure that the ambulance service get here in a more timely fashion. Judge me on that, because I can assure you that is going to be the first thing I attack as your Fulton County Commissioner. Because if we can get to the hospitals, we can live.
Thank you all for your questions. We received many from the audience. And at our debates, this is the best part of the conversation. So the first question is around voting. So Councilwoman Willis, you will answer first, followed by Ms. Grimmett. It reads as follows. I see, hear, and talk to many adults, young and old, that do not vote or say they don't see the reason for voting. If you become commissioner, District 5, what would you do to try to get more residents throughout the county to vote?
I will do what I'm already doing. Every community outreach event that I have is packed out. And I always invite Fulton County voter registration to my events. As a registered member of the Democratic Party of Georgia, I have been a state committee member for over 10 years. We convene Saturday. It is important that we get into these high schools, just like people came into my high school when I was in high school. We get our students that are 17 and a half registered to vote. It is important that we take our kids on these bus tours that SCLC sponsors every year, so people can see, so our students can see the sacrifices that were made for us to have the right to vote. We have to continue to educate, we have to continue to register, but we can't stop there. we have to contact people that we are registering when it's time to vote. We have to touch people 4 times to get them to the polls. So that's what I will continue to do. That's what I've been doing. And that is a mission of our Democratic Party of Georgia. When we fight, we what? Win. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. I too am already working on getting out the vote through the various organizations that I work for and that I'm a part of, So that's one, right? We're already aware that the ballots were stolen and that we're waiting to get those ballots back. And so what happened in Fulton County at the election center, what happened there is distraction. And what Trump's trying to do is distract us from getting out the vote. And so I can tell in this audience that all of us will be voting either early or on May 19th. And so getting out the vote is important, but what comes to mind as a communications person, as a communicator and a collaborator, is getting out the vote and working with influencers. So how many of y'all are on TikTok? Not a lot. Some. Instagram, let's go to Facebook. Okay. And so you can use those tools, and the good thing is that they're free, right? And so I would provide a kit, a social media kit, if you will, press kit, with all the information that's needed for folks to push out. So as a communications person with that hat on, you can easily work with influencers, you can easily spread the message on social media about the importance of getting out the vote. You can even create hashtags. Are y'all familiar with hashtags? We are still using hashtags on Instagram, right? So you click on that hashtag and you form a community. And so I would use communication to get out the vote. Thank you.
Thank you. 2 more audience questions before we have closing statements from each of you. The second question reads as follows. We have heard so much about leadership in South Fulton. However, how do you reconcile working with all of Fulton County? Speak to your relationship building with the north side of Fulton County. Start with you, Ms. Grimmett.
Thank you for the question. I believe I shared earlier that I've already met with all of the commissioners, including the chairman, right? And so I have a rapport with everyone. I also worked at Fulton County government. So when I go down to meetings, I'm oftentimes hugging people. I am a hugger. So I'm hugging folks because I already have relationships with folks at the county. And so there's one. I've already worked there. And I apologize, I'm trying to remember the second part of the question.
Building relationships with the north side of Fulton County.
Yeah, and so I mentioned I already have relationships. I've already sat down and not collaborated, but I've already sat down and listened and talked with folks from across Fulton County, not just the north side, but I also have relationships with folks who are in South Fulton County. We mentioned earlier that it's a big district. There are 200,000 folks that live in South Fulton County. There are 8 cities. And so I've spent a number of my time and years in the community, engaging with elected leaders. And that's how we've gotten so much done in the affordable housing senior space. And so I already have those relationships with people. I can call them on the phone if our seniors are in need. And so that's the good news, is that I already have a great rapport, not just with North Fulton, I have a rapport with, but more so deeply and connected with South Fulton elected officials. Thank you.
Thank you.
In 2019, I was tapped by Rob Pinks to serve on the Core Services Governance Commission. And that's when we analyzed all of the services that's being offered in Fulton County to make sure there was no duplication of service. I also was tapped by Chairman Rob Pitts to serve on a task force to combat human sex trafficking called Hang the Sign. So we currently have policy in South Fulton where we display signs so that when human sex trafficking victims need help, they have the hotline of those signs that they can call. And so serving in this role as a nonpartisan elected official, I already have the relationships. Not only do I have the relationships in Fulton County, I have the relationships on the federal level, on the state level, and being an elected official, we have to attend training, National League of Cities, Georgia Municipal Associations, and that is one of the most important things about attending those trainings, is that we engage with our elected officials on every level of government and we build relationships. And that's why I have gotten so much done in my district, in this city, because it's about relationships. Thank you for the question.
Last question. Parts of District 5 is considered a food desert. Residents have to leave the district for food and entertainment. If elected commissioner, are you going to address this crisis? And we'll start with Councilwoman Willis and then Ms. Grimmett.
Thank you for the question. I have already been addressing the crisis. I started a program on the onset of COVID-19 called Feeding the City, and boy, did we feed the city. Yes, we are in a food desert. We partner with food banks. We partner with nonprofits, and we bring food into our community. You will see me constantly distributing produce, constantly distributing vegetables. We have policies in our city that restrict us, that make it hard for economic development to come. And we, as the council, is working on relieving us of those policies. Georgia is the #1 place to do business. South Fulton should not be the hardest place to do business. It is coming. I will tell you, it is coming. We have hired consultants, retail strategies. They are putting South Fulton out there. They're coding business to come here. We're looking at our policies. We're revising our policies. But in the meantime, that is one of my mantras, addressing food insecurity. I host I address holiday food insecurity. We feed over 1,500 to 2,000 residents. We make sure that they get the full meal, not just a turkey. They get the full meal. Every quarter, I'm distributing. I established a relationship. I'm distributing food every quarter to my seniors, making sure they have access to fresh vegetables, fresh fruit. And one of the most important relationships we have is a relationship with the Atlanta Community Food Bank. I established that relationship. And that relationship has transcended to District 6, where she, every 4th Saturday, does food distributions. Thank you for the question.
Thank you for the question. I was glad to see that City of South Fulton is working on rebranding, having a comms background like the mayor. So I believe that with this rebranding, we will have more businesses coming to South Fulton. So that is a plus, because I've been a resident here for a very long time. So glad to see the rebranding, and I know that will be beneficial for the city. Again, my background is in affordable housing, senior housing, and community outreach and engagement. As a VP working in the Medicaid space, I manage something called the value added benefits. And so those were benefits that provided, I see someone shaking their head, they must be in healthcare. They provide freebies, if you will, for folks who are on Medicaid. And so one of those freebies that we provided was a grocery card, right? So that we made sure that our kids got meals. And so I've been in the affordable housing space, in the food space, making sure that folks who don't have. So I have that history. already, and it's work that I continue to do as well. I think that addresses your question. Thank you.
We will now have closing remarks, and then we will allow the PAC chairman to make final comments. We'll start with Ms. Grimmett, and followed by Councilwoman Willis. Closing statement.
Thank y'all so much. I promised I wasn't going to say y'all, but I think it's okay. Thank you. Thank y'all again so much for just being here tonight. I am not an elected official. I think that's pretty clear. But as I go out and about and do these type of forums, I know that I'm going to get better. What I care deeply about is making sure that folks who are underserved have the services that they need to thrive. And that work is what I've been doing for over 25 years in Fulton County and in the state of Georgia. And so when you think about me, think about the truth. Sojourner truth. Think about someone who's a truth teller. Think about someone who cares deeply about people and gets the resources and the services that people need to do well and be well. That's what I ask of you. I have an open door policy. My phone number, personal phone number, is on my brochures. And folks have called me. The emails that y'all are receiving from me, if you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see my number. Feel free to reach out. I've been a people leader for a very long time, and I know that an open door policy is what is important, but most importantly, it's listening. It's being out in the community and not just at your desk, right? It's rolling up your sleeves when you need to do that, and it's communicating, collaborating, and connecting. And those 3 C's is what I've been and doing my entire life. And so please, to learn more about my campaign, most of you may have received the pamphlet that Team Sojourner, my mom, handed out. Visit electsojourner.com. I'm also Elect Sojourner on Instagram. I would love for you to come on this journey, to join this journey, and so we can be together. Thank you.
I want to thank the Men for Democracy Now! For putting on this forum. I want to thank my pastor for being my spiritual advisor, Pastor Ballot. I want to thank my husband for allowing me to serve, because it takes a lot of time to sacrifice for our family and home. When I ask you to go to the polls and vote for me, I want you to remember, I'm still this little girl from Savannah, Georgia. But I am fearless, I'm experienced, and I'm determined to make sure that South Fulton region gets their fair share. See, my opposition is not Ms. Marble. My opposition is the lack of services that we are currently receiving in our region. And I am determined to make sure that we get access to health care, that our seniors get services, that our veterans get services, that our libraries are updated. And I am determined to make sure that our right to vote is protected, which is why I have a resolution on our agenda at the next council meeting to make sure that immigrant detainee centers are not in this community. I ask for you to go to the polls on May 19th and vote for Helen Zenobia Willis. Send experience to the Fulton County Commission. Please follow me, join me. You will see me in the community. And my phone number is 678-847-3803. 678-847-3803. I'm accessible, I'm available, and I will work hard for you. Thank you for your time and your engagement. I'm Helen Zenobia Willis with the City of South Fulton.
Let's stand on our feet and give both of these outstanding candidates a round of applause. You may be seated. Before I give my final remarks, you heard me speak of someone that we endorsed in September of 2025, your first female mayor and the best mayor, even though she hasn't been here 100 days yet. Let's welcome our mayor, my good friend, Mayor Carmelita Gomes. Let's stand for her. Welcome your mayor. That's your mayor, South Fulton. That's your mayor. I want to thank each of you for coming out to participate in the debate. We started the debate at 7:18 and we were finished within a little in that hour time frame. So I want to thank each of you for being so patient. I did not know Pastor Powell was here. Would you please stand? It's a powerful thing when a pastor comes to another church to support someone from his church. I know we will be at his church on March the 24th this year, next month, for the Fulton County Chairman's Race. So that debate will be held in his church. Thank you, Pastor Powell, for coming tonight. So what happens next? Tonight, the endorsement committee, which I'm not a part of as the chairman, they will meet at a restaurant here in South Fulton. We always support our restaurants. And they will try to make a decision on the debate winner tonight. They will send that recommendation to the committee that I do chair, which is the executive committee. The executive committee will ratify that vote so that we may have a winner tonight. But whatever they decide, we will not release that until Monday. We will notify both candidates via email early Monday morning, if the decision has been reached, to let them know that we're going to be making an announcement. We would normally do it the following day, but tomorrow we will be releasing our gubernatorial candidate endorsement, which will be a public statement on tomorrow. I want to thank each of you once again for supporting. You have two great choices to choose from. At this time, I'm going to ask that the PAC members will come forward. We're going to do our pictures with the mayor first, then the two candidates. Then all people who are elected come back up. We'll get a picture with you for our PAC as well. There was someone who came in very late that's running for office. Would you hold your hand up? Would you say your name and what office you're running from? Okay, remember that name, Fulton. Okay, will you all come now, PAC members, and the mayor first, and then we'll do the candidates with the mayor.
Councilman, how are you? I'm good, sir. Nice to see you.
Miss Sojourner. Let our official photographer go first.